human world or human race, because in the dark, in the dark, our mind and the real life would become the dark also, and
would have become dark.
Would have become.
Would have become. It would have become dark.
Yes, would have become dark also.
It would have become dark.
And okay, I think this is the most significant event or invention in the history.
Okay, fine. So, do you think you have less freedom in Bangladesh? Do you think you need more freedom? In Bangladesh perspective. So think about you're a woman. Think about that. Yes. You know, definitely you can. So do you think if you go abroad, you'll enjoy more freedom?
Yes, I think
that will be better for you.
Yes, I think in Bangladesh perspective, we enjoy less freedom here, and we are actually in this way we are disprivileged here. Freedom is a right, is a inhabitant's right, and we are not getting this properly here in this country. As a woman, I feel also more less freedom here, because I can't go abroad if necessary at night after 10 a.m. or after 12.
After 12, it doesn't have to be a woman. Even male, I think they also think twice.
Yes.
Because it's not safe. Say, I don't know whether it's only in Bangladesh or not throughout the world. But even when I was in USA, sometimes I had to come from my work at 12:30 or 1. But yes, you think, because you have problem everywhere, huh? And it's dark, nobody's there. But relatively, I think that's safer. The other places are safer, usually. But in Bangladesh, I think you'll have to think twice. Even what happens when you come from, when you come from, it doesn't have to be boy or girl. You come from, say, think about a faraway place, and you arrive at 4 a.m. Yes. We think twice whether we should go now or we should wait up to 6 or 6:30 or 7 then. So I think for girls' perspective, it's a little bit different. It's more dangerous. But boys' perspective, they think that they might get mugged or hijacked. There could be so many things, and so many things have happened. Okay, anyways, So
but we have not. I feel that we can get more freedom about our discussion, our talkings, and actually the freedom of speech. We can get more freedom.
Okay. I'll come back. Shibli, how are you? Shibli, hello. Shibli, are you there?
I'm good, alhamdulillah, sir.
Okay, you're fine? Okay, how did the listening exam go? Did you get the time to sit for that yesterday?
I have practiced 4 lessons yesterday that we have shared in the email.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Yes, so last 4, your last 4. Today you have shared another one, and some examples I found pretty easy. Another was quite difficult. Quite difficult, because hearing is the most important, and once I heard that will not be played again.
Okay, I can hear you probably. Okay, I will talk to you later. Don't worry. What's the best way to negotiate a raise in salary? Have you ever had to negotiate a raise in your job? And how did you do that? What's the best way to negotiate a raise in the? What's the best way?
Best way to negotiating.
Loudly, Shibli, a little bit louder.
Earphone.
This
Now
one.
you are hearing, sir?
What's the best way to negotiate a raise in the salary? Okay, we can hear you.
In my view, the best way to negotiating a salary is to sell or sell your ability to the employer.
Okay.
What can you do? What ability you have in yourself, and what value you can add to the organization. If a person can make make them understand in, how important would be for the employer or the organizations, it probably be the best way to negotiate a salary. And another thing is, it depends the situations. If a person want to switch a job, the second job, during switching the job, he or she can negotiate his salary.
Negotiate. That's okay. I'll come. Anand, are you there? Anand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the sure way to detect when someone is lying? You understand that, sometimes somebody is lying.
If the person is known to me or very familiar to me, then we can easily understand by the way of their talking. And again, besides this, if a person try to lie with you, then he or she will become more nervous and he will gonna start sweating. Actually, I saw this from the movies, so I'm not sure about it, but. If you are familiar with him or her, then you will easily understand it.
Okay, what about sometimes somebody probably is not telling you the truth, but you don't stop him, you don't ask him, you know that it might be true or and you feel it probably is not there. What do you do at that time?
Actually,
depends on the situation, I believe.
Actually, yes, I used to believe that he depends on the situation. He told me the light for this. I don't ask him or her twice. I just keep that topic.
But how do you feel when sometimes you know that he's lying, but he thinks that you are a fool? Actually, you know that he's lying. Sometimes it happens. People believe that because you don't want to mess up with others, or you don't find it, just telling lie for such.
I understand. So actually,
how do you manage it? How do you manage that?
It's really annoying. Actually, I don't manage it. I just completely I just ignore that guy for the time and just don't want to talk with them. I just don't do anything else. Just ignore them.
Okay. Do you think that in general, in Bangladesh we live lives of moral integrity in general?
Oh yes, sir. Actually, we live in lies actually because they are actually it is a highly populated country and everyone is watching for their own good. And besides this, there are many crises in this world, so everyone needs the best one. For this reason, everyone needs to tell the lie for even for the short time. Also, it's only just for his or her own personal purpose, nothing else.
Okay, so I think it's more difficult. Yes, even if you are in a Western country, there are few people, so you get the opportunity. But here, you don't get that opportunity. Yes, so you're trying to say that sometimes it's okay. Just you have to survive. Yes, in a country like ours, you can't be that much. You can't have that moral integrity.
Yes, like
more, but very strong. If you won't survive. That's the thing. Okay, so it doesn't have nothing to do with religion. We boast that yes, we are Muslims. So I think for these things, religion is not a factor. It's more about, huh?
Okay, it's all about situation, sir.
It's all about situation. Okay, so. What do you think? How important is physical appearance when it comes to achieving success or getting one's way in life? What do you think in our country? Having a very beautiful physical appearance, how much does it have?
Actually,
Does it
there are,
play a big role in
yes,
Bangladesh
sir.
perspective?
Yes, sir. Actually, it plays a big role because in our country, you can, as I said before, there are less job sector and more population. So in that case, every single matter is fact. Even we
Okay,
need,
so whatever advantage you have, it could be nepotism, it could
yes,
be something.
yes,
Okay, so it's
all
what?
about priorities, sir.
Okay, so there's no problem, and that's why people, they don't have problem with corruption. Is it
Uh,
one of the reasons in
yes,
our
it is one.
country?
Yes, it is one of the main reasons they don't have the problem with corruption. They just easily take it as a part of their life.
Part of their life. Okay. Uh, uh, Ajmeri, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
What about this cloning? Is cloning a sign of progress? Why or why not? Do you support cloning? One day you might find that it doesn't have to be the whole human being. One day you might find that they're cloning a hand and they're putting that hand, they're trying to attach it. Is it possible, or how do you feel it? Is it grow a hand, grow a eye, and put it there, a living eye? So,
Uh,
what's
um,
your view on that? A moral view, from moral point of view?
okay. So yes, nowadays most of the organization are working with this cloning process. Um, uh, I'm not sure about Bangladesh, but maybe the globe technology maybe sometimes work on this cloning. I'm not exactly sure about on this, but I think uh, from my point of view, okay, there's a is one step of the science. So I think it's not bad at all because sometimes cloning is required for some issues. I think it's good
It's good. Okay. So
sort of.
we don't have a very clear idea about those. Very clear. That's one of the
No.
reasons why we don't have. So do you think that human being can be content in all circumstances? People want to be content. I don't need this. He's saying his prayer, everything. All these things. I'm content. But sometimes still he or she, when he or she sees others, his fellow friends, his friends, going to places and becoming big thing. Do you think that all people, it's very easy to be happy with whatever you have, whereas others,
Uh,
you know,
no, I don't
and
think so.
especially in this
No, I don't
materialistic
think
world,
so.
you might
Yes,
say that, but I think there was a time when
right.
happiness mattered. But now, I think having money, all those things, this is also very important for happiness, at least to a certain extent. So,
Yes.
how do you manage that? Do you face this problem? You know, you tell yourself that I need to be content, but sometimes we try to be content, but the next moment we feel bad, dejected. Is it very normal, or it doesn't happen?
Yes.
I think it's normal.
Yes, it's very it's normal because when my baby wants some toys for me from me, so that time I need money to buy it. So I
Okay,
think
this is
money
the
is
point.
important.
This is the point. If it is about you, we can sacrifice, but when, when it is about others, and if it is like that, so think about, say, your daughter, your son, you just have to feed only food, then that's a different story. It's not only food, so many things will be needed, no? Everybody. So
Yes,
all these things adds up, and it becomes difficult. And it
right.
becomes difficult. So what's the secret? How one can be content. Anybody among you have a secret, or you have seen someone, you know, who doesn't have much but is very content, very happy? Or is it only praying to God and believing in God? Is that the only, you know, that seems to be the biggest impetus?
No,
Do you agree?
I don't. I don't think so. I don't think so, because God tell us that we should try. Otherwise, He will not help us. So that is the main thing, that we need to work, and we need to do the make money or anything to be happy. I'm not telling that money makes time all the times happy, but it's the important and vital part of our life. So but main thing is the satisfaction. So own satisfaction. So how we are satisfied what we have, that is the main things of secret. So I think that is the main things of happiness. So so I think it is the main thing, that
Okay,
satisfaction.
Mamun Bhai, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Mamun Bhai, what's your strategy? Or no, not strategy. I'm saying that, what do you advise if someone asks you that,
Yes, sir.
you know, I don't have many things and I feel down.
Yes,
you know, he's always feeling bad. He doesn't have things, you know. So
yes,
how
sir.
can he or she, you know,
Yes, sir.
say, think about you have a government job. You know, you don't have to think about that. But what about others? What
Yes, sir.
someone, he or she feels bad about, he doesn't have a job or good job, he or she cannot even. So what advice will you give him or her about this? He wants to, very malcontent about.
Yes, sir. I think some people are always insatiable.
So what's the easiest way? You know, just tell him that believe in God. There's a reason that why you are not successful.
I think some people are always insatiable, but everybody should have content to what they have, because we have to return to our God once. So nothing to be worried about this. The spiritual well-being is a fact. The meditation and the pious life can help them to be satiable for what we have. So we have to convince them nothing to be worried. Once you have to try for something, but don't be diehard about this, because everything is relative in our world. So manage yourself within your limit and try for better, but not.
But Mohan Bhai, sometimes you know that, but all your family members, you know, sometimes
Yes,
they don't understand. It's not only you. You can sacrifice, but you cannot control the mind of others. So I think it's quite difficult. And at some point, it really matters. And because people have to live, you know, life, you know,
yes.
even living, sometimes living is more than religion. You know, you'll have to survive. Survive.
Exactly.
If you survive, you have religion. If you don't survive, you don't have religion, you don't have nothing, you don't have society.
Yes,
you know, and sometimes just mere survival become, you know, if you're not, you know, survival of the fittest, not everybody.
Survival of the fittest.
Fittest,
Yes,
you know, that's the bottom line. You know, if you can
that's
survive, think about the corona. Think about the corona. Those who, you know, those who are really, they're needed in different sectors, you know, they're getting the job. But there are lots of people, those are not that much needed, and especially that informal sectors. You know, they're definitely they're being challenged. Okay, Anunna.
Yes, sir.
do you ever feel that, what to do? What do you recommend to overcome self-pity? Some people, they don't feel good about himself or herself, for various reasons. One is not getting a job, or he has a degree, is not, this happens. So what do you recommend? How do you ask him or her to overcome this problem, self-pity?
I think self growth is important here, because if I develop myself and develop my knowledge and the skills, it is the best way to overcome the self-pityness. And I think this actually the confidence is the most valuable way to overcome this. And if anyone, yes, of course, we have some qualities, but we need to we always need to nourish them, nurture them.
To nourish and nurture them.
Yes.
Nourish and nurture. Okay, so, but sometimes what happens, age, experience, all this, you're qualified, but there's some structures. You need to fit in the structure. For some, you miss some. That could be a challenge as well. We don't live in a perfect world. Probably you're much qualified than many people, but you're past your age.
I believe that most of the cases, when people feel this type of senses, emotions, they in today or tomorrow they will overcome, because they have to survive.
Okay, so what you are focusing is a continuous process, self-improvement, self-growth. Keep on.
I always want to increase my knowledge, and for this I try to read always, and not only reading, but in this digital world, we have to watch. We have to be careful and acknowledged about what is happening in the world.
Okay, Ananna, people, they don't watch television these days. Do you think that they can compensate what, they're not watching television? Sometimes if you watch television, you watch movies, but many people, they don't watch movies in the internet, in their laptops. For some reason, they have different kind of behavioral pattern. So watching movies, watching dramas, I think these are important in life.
I never prescribed all this type of knowledge gathering techniques, but most of the people use Facebook or other social medias, and different professionals have different groups, pages, and websites. They can browse those.
Okay.
Yes, they can. They are in English. So if we want to enrich ourselves, we have to know the knowledge and techniques, language, knowledge, and techniques.
Okay. Ananna, why is it taboo to discuss personal financial matters? We don't usually talk unless he's your partner or he's your family member. Why is it taboo to discuss? People don't want to talk about personal financial matters. Why?
I think this is human ego. People think that if I am rich,
other will exploit me.
Other will honor me, or other will give me preference.
No. It's a taboo. They don't discuss it. Say how much.
Oh, yes, if I discuss
how much bank balance I have, people, you don't know. There are millions of it, but we don't know. The bankers know that. And sometimes he or she might have 10 accounts. So even
if I share my personal financial matters with you, you can think that I am not so much rich. and I is
oh,
in
okay,
somewhere
okay, okay. That's one.
4.
Huh?
That's the
There is
one
another
point.
problem. What if I have lots of, then he might target you, or he might expect help from you. You know, whenever he's in trouble or she's in trouble, they might say, no, you have lots of money. Why don't you give me some money? Huh? Could be.
Yes.
Okay, so that's okay. So
Sir, another thing I feel about this, that it is if people doesn't want to share their personal financial matters with others.
People don't.
People don't. Yes, people don't want to share their.
এই ভুলগুলো কিন্তু আপনাকে এখানে এইগুলো হলো কমন ভুল, মানে এইগুলো ভুল হলে কিন্তু প্রবলেম মানে এটা বুঝছেন, আপনি যে ছোট জিনিসগুলো না করতে পারেন বড়গুলো সেই তখন এটা কিন্তু ছোট কিন্তু আবার বড় সমস্যা। এইগুলো ওরা ভাবে, কেননা এই ভুল বিদেশিদের কোনোদিনও হবে না, কেননা ওদের মুখে আসবেই না, সেই জন্য আরো প্রবলেম। কেন বুঝছেন, এটা তো ওরা কোনোদিন শুনেইনি, বলেইনি। আচ্ছা, ওইটা ব্যাপার না। তারপর আমি বলছি যে এইটা একটু ভালো করে খেয়াল রাখবেন। হ্যাঁ, বলুন। আচ্ছা, আরেকটা প্রশ্ন করি, when is the failure success? When you fail at something and then you consider it as a success. Is there any instances of this? You couldn't bribe anybody and you think that yes, it's success. That could be one. Or you cannot harm in someone where others are doing it. And do you think that could be a failure, could be a success?
Okay, sir, I can share a small thing that I was a art student in my HSC, at my HSC, and in pre-test, yes, in test examination, you may know that a test examination has taken before the main exam. So in my test exam, from as an art student, I failed each subject because I haven't studied I haven't studied 1 hour or 2 hours at least. So at that time, I was failed, but
I failed.
Yes, I failed. But in my HSC exam, I get the best result in my district.
In your district?
Yes, highest GPA.
Highest GPA.
Yes, it was highest
Very
GPA.
good.
So I feel that this is the failure.
Okay, sometimes, okay. Fine, you get okay. Okay, Adnan?
Yes, sir.
What's your position on capital? What's your email address? Does your name Adnan is there? No.
Yes, sir, it's there. It's mda.adnan.
Oh, MDA, that one. Okay, MDA.adnan. Then
619@gmail.com.
Okay. I'll send you some materials.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so what's your position on capital punishment?
What's your position on capital punishment? Sir, actually didn't understand the question.
What's your position on capital punishment? Do you support it, or do you don't support it? Capital punishment is, mrityu danda. Do you think people should be, awarded capital punishment? Well, just a moment, 1 minute. Adnan, do you support it, or You don't support it.
Well, I think I actually I do support because it's necessary uh, for some criminals because it's for some crime. I think it's
It's a
fair
deterrent.
to.
It's a deterrent. It deters them from committing those crimes.
Yes, sir. It does.
Okay, so but so you support it. You know,
Yes,
there are
sir. I
lots
do.
of people they don't support it. Why? Any idea?
Well, I think they think that this might
Everybody should be
not.
given a second chance,
Yes, everybody should be given a second
or
chance.
without only God has the power to commute.
So God has the power to do it.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay, and God has the power, and He will take care of it in the
Yes,
next
exactly,
life.
sir.
You know, like
Yes,
that.
exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the meaning of life? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever deeply thought about that? Do you find a meaning? Do you have a purpose
Not
here, or
well, not deeply, but I think if you ask me that, for me it's like uh, living life in a good way with respect, showing respect, and to live a healthy life. I think that's till now I've think about life in this way.
okay? Okay, I will come back to. Can I ask Shibli? Shibli,
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
do you feel that life is very hard, or it is very complicated, or no? Or you know,
Of course, sir. In my view, life is definitely hard. Um,
your life may not be hard. That's why you may not feel. No, life is not complicated.
and my life is also hard, sir. Everyone, like, in my view, I think everyone's life is hard
You
because
have a job, you have a house, you have a family. Then what else do you need?
in other aspects, I am not getting those things which may have, uh, which are may.
Probably if you compare
I
it, your sister, she's living in USA
no,
or
sir.
where?
Australia.
Australia. So she's enjoying many other things, huh? That you know, I'm not saying,
I'm not actually not saying about my sisters. I'm actually comparing within staying in Bangladesh. In
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, I don't want to compare with other people or other persons, but as a question, as far as the question came, I want to say that if I compare to other my friends, my friends who are in better positions,
Okay.
in
So I see. I see. So okay. So in every step, it doesn't have to be one particular. In every step. So sometimes people tend to compare. So do you think that Facebook has aggravated this? We tend to compare every day because
yes,
you
sir.
see the post.
In my, I guess so. Facebook has made us life more complicated because people are sharing their activities in Facebook, and which causes negative impact in
Not
our mind.
always. Not always,
Sometimes,
different
sometimes,
positive, negative kind sometimes. Okay.
sometimes it causes negative impact in one's mind because they are thinking which if this person is
And
doing
I think
this thing.
sometimes this is true. Sometimes those who are well off, those who are better off, they participate in this kind of social media more. They have the
It
time.
may actually. This is a
Sometimes, not
probability, sir.
always.
Right,
I'm
sir.
saying there's a probability, when you read their postings and have any worry. And no worries, they're having a good
Actually,
time,
also
but
it
you're
depends
struggling.
on the
So
reader's mind,
sometimes,
readers or the viewers who is viewing this post, how we feel about the post.
okay.
Actually, depends on that his or her minds.
Okay, okay. Shibli,
Yes, sir.
money doesn't bring lasting happiness. What does? What do you think? You know, you don't have the money, so what you live for? How? What you need to? You understand? Then what? What else? No money.
Without money, living will be a curse actually in this current world, in this contemporary
In
world.
this time and age. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So it's
It will be a curse, nothing else, because in comparing to other countries where you are living in Bangladesh, where money talks everywhere, um, our all basic
okay.
needs will be hampered without
ये भाई,
any money.
Mamun bhai, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you think that the general population is better off or worse off than it was 50 years ago? Let's talk about Bangladesh. Think about, yes, it's almost 50 years, 220. Yes, during the war of liberation. Do you think
Yes.
that don't take the war, apart from the war, think about before the war. Do you think in general people were better off or worse off,
In,
compared to now?
yes, sir. To my opinion, people are uh, living in good condition. They have diversified livelihood means. They are earning a lot. They can share their ideas through social media also. Uh, they can have a good communication system. They are able to uh, bring their children in a hospital in case of health condition, in case of education, they can send their children to free school. In case of relief and in case of grant or any sorts of fund, they are getting more. They are getting different types of relief fund, the food assistance. Students also have are getting midday meal also. So I think some sorts of development has happened in our country. That's why they are earning a lot and they can manage their daily bread.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word fun? What's your definition of fun? For yourself.
Fun.
Do you enjoy anything fun? What you treat as fun? If someone asks you, let's have fun, what will you propose?
I think the most funny things is comic. Whenever we gathers, we gather our friend together. Whenever we gathering, then some sorts of comic is very much amusing, and through gossiping we can mimic our teacher also. Sometimes some friends, how can they walk, what their gesture, posture, how they are talking. That's mimicking their attitude or someone's attitude is very much funny for me.
Okay. Anunna, are you there? Anunna?
Yes, sir.
So at amusement parks, are you drawn more to the scariest Roller coaster or the tamest merry-go-round? What kind of person are you? You know, which one do you prefer? You have been to this kind of amusement parks?
Actually, I never have to this kind of amusement parks, but
You have never been to what, you know, such. We have
yeah.
Fantasy Kingdom, we have Nandon, all those stuff probably, huh?
Unfortunate actually. I never get the chances or never.
Why? It's because you don't want, or you want it, but you couldn't manage it.
Actually, I never find interest.
You don't have that interest, you know. Okay, interest. Why? Because okay, fine. There could be various
Because
reasons.
I have a strategy here because in our life we have lots of ups and downs. I don't need to get that essence from any rice or any type
Okay.
of yes.
Okay. Okay. Or you're more busy self-improving yourself, and
Yes.
that's your focus. That could be another thing. Okay.
Right.
What about Ajmeri? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Ajmeri? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
let me ask you something. Mm, so, what's the last time you had to give a speech? How did it go? In front of many people? How did it go? You remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Like 6 months ago,
Hmm.
we had a like a retreat when I was at UNHCR. So that time I got the opportunity to give a
Hello?
speech about my working in the cash base in yes. Sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so that time at that
At
time
that
at
time?
UNHCR I was work at that time at UNHCR I was work at
I was working.
cash based intervention program.
Okay.
I was working at the cash based intervention, so I
Hmm.
got the opportunity to give a speech about my program, how we do the do the information management for this cash based intervention, to inform of the all staffs of UNSCR is like 200 staffs. So
200 stuff.
last time I yes, so last time I got this opportunity to give a speech about my work, about my experience in front of them.
Okay. Okay. So, how often do you read your horoscope? Do you believe there is any truth to it? Which কি এটা কি বলে হরোস্কোপ কি বলে ওই জ্যোতিষ না জ্যোতিষী শাস্ত্র হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ এটা কি হ্যাঁ do you believe in that? Is there any essence to that? Or was it a time,
I did believe
you know,
on
you believed, used to read, previously used to read, or now
that
you read?
previously I believed. No, I don't read now, not this type of horoscopes, but previously I remember in the Prothomalo paper there at maybe Thursday there is a corner for this horoscope, so I really fond of to read those horoscope from the newspaper, but nowadays I don't like to read the horoscope, and I don't believe on this horoscope.
Okay. Anand, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What do you do if you can't sleep at night? Do you count sheep, toss and turn, or get up and try to do something productive?
No, actually, I don't do like that. Actually, I'm actually aware of sleeping. And what I do is just until I don't get tiredness, I don't go to bed. Actually, I do something like studying or playing games when I'm just feeling asleep, and when I'm just tired, and I just go to sleep. I don't like to just waiting for that sleep. I just want to I just want my sleep to come to me, not just waiting for it.
Okay, so it's not a challenge. So do you dream a lot?
No, sir. Actually, I don't dream a lot. Sometimes it's plain, and sometimes I dream, but actually I forgot that.
Okay. Is there anything you intended to do today but didn't? Why not? You thought
Mm,
that you should be doing, but you couldn't do it for some reason.
actually, no, no. That's not some. I didn't make some plans today because my ACC is over, and my private will start from, I think, 26, or no, I mean 21. So I didn't make that plan today. So there's nothing for
Okay.
this.
Okay. Adnan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
What's the best way to win back an estranged friend? What's the best way
Doing
to win
thing,
back an estranged friend?
main friend. I
Yes.
think,
Uh-huh. Do you
so
think
it's friend.
what will be your strategy? That friend has left you for some reason, and you don't have any touch. You are not in touch, but you're
I think the best way would be like,
you'll buy chocolate or ice cream for him or her.
no, not there, not there. I think it would be like a surprise meeting, surprise hangout with us, or to go and meet that person.
Okay, so that's
Like
that's your
yeah,
way.
give him a surprise way so that he can. I think that would be my way to get back an strange friend.
Okay, so Shibli, why do you think there are so many disagreement over spiritual and religious matter? Should there be so much in the world, but there are lots of disagreement over spiritual? Do you agree that there should be, or there should not be?
Well, this is a actually critical question. Uh, it depends on the people's mind, how they feel about uh, the religious thing in there, and how they prefer spiritual things over their religion. In my point of view, I
But what do you think there's?
I'm actually mm, actually, sir, I think
Okay, okay,
people
we
people
know that it's
people
complicated, huh? It's
no,
complicated, and
it
it
is
has been like
complicated,
that for many, many years.
right,
So you
sir?
cannot stop it, you cannot change it. Okay, so if God decided to visit Earth right now, what do you think He would say or do?
Visit what, sir?
Earth, our planet.
Okay, okay.
After seeing what we have done to this planet, what he will say, or
I will
what he might do.
I will say this is very beautiful, and all praises goes to Allah that He has made a wonderful things for us.
Okay, okay. So, uh, Maun Bhai,
Sir, yes, sir.
do you think that religion is necessary? Why or why not? No, this is not my question. They have put the question. It's not my personal
Religion,
question.
religion.
Do you think? Okay, you don't have to be, that, but does it help or not? In world's context, I'm not going deep. So, do you think religion is necessary? Why or why not? Or it's better to? What if we had just one religion? Things would have been better.
we should have one religion because the principle of all religion is almost same. So we should not have any division. We should follow the main principle, I think. Otherwise, it's create disparity. Various ethnic groups are creating.
So think about that. If there were only one religion, say one day there is a decree, there will be one religion. So there will be less contention in the world. Do you think that we can believe that? Is there any is that
I think it will
there will be fewer wars, or is there any chance?
No, sir. I think it will be harmonious and peaceful if we converted to one religion. Because the ultimate target of Islam, everybody should follow the Islam. And I believe one day every will return. Everybody will return to the Islam, and before doomsday, Islam will prevail, and unitary religion, the one religion will prevail the whole world, I think. So there should be rethink that there is single religion is better, and we should try to believe in Islam.
Okay, so that's your. So how do you feel about people? Those are not of your religion. How do you? I don't want to just go deeper. I'm just in general. In general. So okay, no, let's drop it because that's very personal. So and it's controversial. That's the thing. People have they have every right to think in their own way. They think, some people think, some people don't think, and some people give a big damn to that, and some people they never bothered about that. So things happen. Okay, so I think this was about spiritual, just few. So, Adnan, if you want to be remembered to the future generation, how you want to be remembered? Anything you would like to do that people will remember, or it's not important for you whether people remember you or not?
No, obviously, doesn't matter it's important or not. I think that each and every person's dream to be like he or she is remembered. I think if you ask me how would I, and well, I always wanted to be someone like the whole world knows me. If it was like doing something for people so that in such way that people, the whole world would know, and that's the way people will remember me.
Okay. Ajmeri, are you there? Ajmeri, is she here or no? She has left. Okay, Ajmeri, she has left. Okay, so Shibli,
Yes, sir.
how do you will deal with very needy people? We are not happy with whatever we have. This is true, and because we always set a standard that this one means I'm happy, and that always changes. That's bound to change. And they think about people who doesn't know even what they are going to eat for the next meal. And what we're going to do about that, this is, have you ever, and how we deal with this? And this will go on for, and and we somehow, they're to be blamed. For their misery, they're to blame. They don't have the education. How can they get education? They don't, so how this should be the biggest. Do you think this should be the biggest problem in the world rather than other stuffs? This much disparity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, if I get
And
the
then
opportunity,
if just we're looking at them and we are not caring. We are not caring. So how do you feel? When this will be resolved, or this will continue for, because we need poor people, we need middle class, we need richer, rather than that the society will not run. How do you feel about that?
first of all, if I get the opportunity to know how they are needy and how what is the main need of them, I will try my best to help them so that.
But do we? That's the point. If we give 100 taka, we think that.
No, sir. 100 taka can. It depends on what is the need of them.
No, I'm just saying, say if we give even 50 taka sometimes. No, this is also true. Many of the beggars, they have their own houses. They make so much money,
Yes,
so
begging is a profession.
Yeah, begging is a profession. It's a kind of a business. It's a kind of, and I think this corona, do you think the corona has kind of, had a negative impact on their income? Definitely. These days, people are less charitable because they are feeling that I don't have the money. Many people. I'm not saying all the people. So how can I give them?
Needy people actually will remain in the world until the final time comes. The people will be always needy, and in hypothetical way, if I think, and what you are saying, what is the questionable item is the need of a basic needs, and this is the core thing, and it will remain in the world, and we are not habitual or have a strong and mind in our strong mind to help them in a way that they can overcome their needs. Because people always think about himself, about themselves, how they can improve in their life or in their how they can improve their social life, not think about the needy people.
We can't help it. We have limited resources. That could be one reason. Huh? Acha, Anunna, are you there? Anunna, what's the most significant loss you have experienced? But people experience different kind of loss. What's the most significant loss you have experienced in your viewpoint? What was that loss?
No, yes, people face different kind of losses, but I when I losing my mother.
Losing.
Yes, losing my mother is the significant loss.
Most significant.
I experienced, and actually it is a never-ending emotion. It will continue to my whole life. But beside this, I lost a friend of mine in my student life, and I feel that it is also near the most significant loss in my life.
Okay, another question. So let me ask you that, what do you think about, that the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She won by a landslide this time, and she was just a clerk. She was just a mere clerk in a store probably, and I don't know exactly for how many years she's in politics, and now she's and so do you get inspiration from these? She was just a simple store clerk, and somehow so do you think that something of that magnitude might happen to your life? Do you believe in that?
Actually, I never want to be a president of a country.
No, that's, you never know. Listen, sometimes they sometimes they don't want to do that. People probably they have that. And even I don't think, who wants to be a president, or, they work in most of the cases. I have to read her biography. I haven't read that. They're saying, they're just writing, who was just a simple clerk, a store clerk, and now she's the number one person in the, okay. So what I'm saying that, do you dream? It doesn't have to be president, it could be sometimes, they need to become. It's not they want to become. For others.
Yes, I want to reach the highest highest in my profession or in my life. So yeah, and not as a president, but I feel
okay. So you want. So what's going to help you? Is it education, or further education, or getting into a job and prove yourself? What's the easiest way for you? What do you think? Is it education?
Sir, actually, success has never has a lot of variations. Success in leadership and success in personal life, it varies. But if I will be a leader, of course I will prefer to value people's thinking and their demands. So if I value their emotion, their demand, and their rights, of course I will be a good leader. But if I think about my personal life, I always give preference or give importance to my personal growth or development, and be good with people, to the people whom I meet every day or always are closer with me.
Okay, Mamun bhai, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you tend to believe people too much? Do you trust people too much? And have you had any problem for this? No, I'm just saying, if you trust, I'm not sure. You tend to be trusting, you tend to trust people too much? Or
I do trust people. Most frequently, I trust them because without trust, the work sometimes some works cannot be possible. So trust is inevitable.
I think another point, it depends on your nature of job as well.
Job also, yes, sir.
In some cases, you don't have to trust other people because you are of your own. But in some cases, you'll have to work with people. You are dependent on others. So if you can, and it's a big problem, because you cannot do everything by yourself.
Yes,
you'll have to delegate some work, and you'll have to believe that, you'll have to trust others.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anand, are you there? Anand?
Yes, sir.
How do you deal with doubt? If you have doubt about something, how do you deal with that?
Actually, it's, you were talking about a person or any product?
No, anything. It could be doubt about somebody, about the product and about the
Okay,
person.
then it is better to avoid it and keep distance from it. It would be the best solution.
Okay, so do you think what's holding you back? You could have been number one in body shot. Is there anything that's holding you back? Oh, no, you may be number one. Excuse me if
Which
you are
one, sir?
number one, and in any
Which
case,
side?
okay, in
No,
any
I
in
mean,
everybody knows you. You're a very famous person, or okay, or if you had something, you could have done more. Okay, it doesn't have to be in body shot. Anything.
okay, sir.
Okay, or
Actually, sir,
any lacking. Yes, if
so laziness is what's keeping me away from being number one, sir. Actually, the honest answer.
that's the honest answer.
Yes,
So
sir.
what? You sleep more? You
Yes,
waste
sir.
time, mostly, sleeping. How many hours do you sleep?
9 to 10 hours.
So it should have been what? The successful people, they sleep for 4 to 5 hours.
Actually, not like if I just have some education pressure, then I can sleep less. But yeah, actually, I'm just
Okay,
like
that's a
I don't.
problem. When you are not engaged, you tend
Yes,
to fall back. You tend to
yes,
fall back and okay. Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
Ananda, is there anything that's holding you back? You could have done more, and you think that particular. So uh, I worked for Bragg, just a year. I was there for 1 year, just in 2014, 15. And I had a friend of mine, he's still working. He says that if he had more control on English, he could have become manager and more, even director, something like that, because he has the experience. So is there anything that you think that's holding you back? In my friend's case, his English. He has some problem.
At first,
Anything?
I think my laziness is the one thing which is keep me in back, and another thing is like your friend, my good. I have not enough control in my good control in my English. My English is not so good, but yes, no, English less uh, good.
No,
I
he's good. He's good at many things, and he's given responsibility. But the problem is, he thinks he could have been in the top position. Because without English, I don't know. I sometimes say that you don't need English. He says that when you are a leader, you are just leading everybody. At least you need to have a. So there's some limited, or he thinks like that. Okay,
yes,
so in your case, laziness one, and another one, English
and other
thinks
any
and things, and another one, science. You didn't study science. That can be another one. Things
no,
would have been
I don't
easier.
think so.
Oh no,
Actually,
no. I'm just saying. The other day you told me that you wanted to study science, and your parents didn't allow you.
but I am not agree with your friends totally. I think that uh, if you try, he could have a better position in another organization or
Okay,
another department. But
department.
I don't think so. English is one of the best
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. That should be the case. Because it's not English. Nobody asks a successful person how good he is in English. And
Yes,
merely being good in English, it doesn't translate into anything. Because the point is, whatever quality you have, whether you get the opportunity to use that,
yes.
is more about that. If you don't, you have the quality, but you are not using that, then what's the use? Okay, Shibli, is there anything that you think sometimes holding you back? You could have achieved more in life.
Yes, sir. I have some of these drawbacks in my behavior. The main thing is I have always procrastinating some uh, important jobs, keeping hold, which those I could have completed earlier, but I didn't get engaged myself.
Okay, what about think about your job? Is there anything you think that Oh, the other day you told me you don't have a very good memory.
Yes, sir.
If you had a good
I can
memory,
memorize
then
things
okay,
very
then
easily.
things would have been a little bit better. Little bit better.
Right,
anything else with that? Some people, they are very good with public relationship.
Another thing is that I am
And some people, they cannot say
kind of
no.
introvert.
They cannot say no. Some people, they are very street smart. They understand. And some people, they know that others are trying to fool you, but you're not saying anything. You get my point. Sometimes, okay, let them do.
I got your point.
Let them do.
By the grace of Almighty, I didn't yet face that kind of foolish-like situation. But I have another problem is that I am.
Okay, Adnan. Hello, Adnan, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So, is there anything that's holding you back? You're lacking some kind of lacking. You could have been in a better place.
Well,
You might go there, but I'm saying that relatively. Anything?
I think that part would be my study.
What? Adnan?
I think the study part, I think if I was more serious, I could be in a better place.
So you think that study-wise, you lack?
Study-wise,
things should have been better.
Things would be really better than now.
Okay. So study, you are focusing mostly on study.
Yes, sir. Right now.
Okay, so I understand that. And Annan told us that it was okay. So we are kind of done with speaking now. Huh? Let's stop it here. And anybody you'd like to do reading?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Let's do a little bit of reading. Let's check it. Others reading করবেন কেউ মাউন্ট ভাই সময় আছে?
জি স্যার রিডিং করব স্যার।
আচ্ছা করবেন না, ঠিক আছে। Okay, so আমরা আজকে এখন এটা দেখছি. Let's check this one. We'll be covering this one. It's a disappearing delta. It's about Nile, river Nile নিয়ে একটা কথা বলেছে একটা। এটা এসব করলে একটু সুবিধা, অনেক সময় জানাও যায় একটু। আমরা তো খুব বেশি একটা ডিপে আমরা জানি না। রিভার নাইল সম্বন্ধে জানি, তারপর এখন তো ওখানে একটা ড্যাম তৈরি করছে ইথিওপিয়ার, বোধহয় না? ওইটা নিয়ে একটু, এটা বোধহয় মাউন্ট ভাই ভালো জানবেন। ওইটা নিয়ে একটু ঝামেলা হচ্ছে ওদের।
জি স্যার।
যুদ্ধের মাঝে মধ্যে কথাটা তো ওঠে। সো লিস্ট অফ হেডিংস, তারপর এখানে হচ্ছে yes or not given, আর এটা হলো সামারি অফ প্যারাগ্রাফ।
জি স্যার।
ওকে, এটা আমরা করি একটু তাহলে। হ্যাঁ, তাহলে আচ্ছা, ফার্স্ট আমরা দেখি কিভাবে আমি পার্সোনালি করলে আমি জানি না, দ্যাট হেল্পস মি। আমি একবারে পিছন থেকে একটু শুরু করি, অনেক সময় বেশি হেল্প হয়, কম হয়। এখানে অবশ্যই একটা ব্যাপার আছে, যেহেতু হেডিং আছে, হেডিং পড়তে গেলে আমাদের পুরোটুকি পড়তে হয়, সেই জন্য মোটামুটি একটা বোঝা যায় অ্যাটলিস্ট কোথায় কি পড়েছে, এতটুকু। এইটা সেই জন্য পিছনে বোধহয় অত খুব বেশি একটা দেখার তেমন একটা প্রয়োজন নেই, কিন্তু এটা একটু লাগে। অনেক সময় ম্যাচিং থাকে, কোন ব্যক্তির নাম, সেইটা বেশি হেল্প হয়, নাহলে আবার নতুন করে খুঁজতে হয়। আর yes to not given, আর মনে হয় এইটাও খুব একটা দেখার দরকার নেই, মানে তাহলে মাথাটা একটু ভারী হয়ে যায়। এইটা দরকার নেই, যেহেতু আমরা এটা পড়ছি। আচ্ছা, সেই লিস্ট অফ হেডিং আর হেডিং গুলো। হ্যাঁ, হেডিং এখানে একটা সুবিধা আছে, কয়টা, দুইটা দেয়াই আছে না? তাহলে আমরা কি করব, এটা 7টা বাদ দিলাম, আর 6টা, 7 আর 6টা বাদ। আর ওখানে হচ্ছে এ আর কি, জি নাকি সি? আচ্ছা, এ আর সি বোধহয় না এটা, নাকি হ্যাঁ এ আর সি এই দুইটা। আচ্ছা আমরা একটু পড়বো এখন, এটা হেডিং আছে, তাহলে আমরা এই দুইটা বাদ যাবে না, 6 আর 7 না?
জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা আর এখানে এ আর সি, এটা দেয়া আছে না, এ আর আচ্ছা সিটা ওখানে আছে, অসুবিধা নেই, আমরা একটু পরে আসবো। আচ্ছা আমরা একটু পড়ি। আচ্ছা এই ছবিটা একটু দেখে নিই, যেহেতু ছবিটা দেখেছে অবশ্যই বোধহয় একটা
ছবিটা মানে
ছবিটা বলো দেখি আমরা।
ছবিটা দেখে কি বুঝবো কেমনে?
আচ্ছা এটা দেখলে হবে যে আমিও ঠিক মানে এটা হচ্ছে রিভার নাইল আসছে, এখানে কায়রো, এটা মেডিটেরিয়ান সি, এই যে মানে এটা সি, এটা সি, এটা সি, মেডিটেরিয়ান সি, আর এটা হলো ডেল্টা এখান থেকে। সো এইগুলো আস্তে আস্তে জমতে জমতে সম্ভবত হয়তো এক্সপ্যানশন হচ্ছে। সো এইগুলো হ্যাঁ এইগুলো হলো শাখা, একটা শাখা হয় তারপরে সাগরে গিয়ে পৌঁছাচ্ছে, আর এটা কায়রো। আচ্ছা আর মেডিটেরিয়ান সি, এর থেকে বেশি কিছু আমরা বুঝতে পারবো না এখন, শুধু এইটা বুঝছি যে কায়রো থেকে 3-4টা এটা ট্রিবিউটারিজ বলে, যেটা ট্রিবিউটারিজ তৈরি হচ্ছে। আচ্ছা আর এখানে এটা দেখিনি, সরি, এখানে হচ্ছে আসওয়ান যোগ, হ্যাঁ এখানে দেখছি যে আসওয়ান লো ড্যাম, এখানে একটা ড্যাম, আর আসওয়ান হাই ড্যাম, দুইটা ড্যাম করেছে, দুইটা ড্যাম, আর এখানে আসওয়ান, আর এখানে লেক নাসের থেকে পানিটা আসে, এসে তারপরে এটা দিয়ে আটকিয়ে রাখে বোধহয় এর সময়। আচ্ছা এটা বোধহয় আমাদের প্রবলেম হলে আমরা ইয়াকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো, এক্সপার্ট মাউন্ট ভাইকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো। আচ্ছা লেক নাসের। আচ্ছা এখন পড়ি আমরা, লেটস রিড আমরা। ও আচ্ছা আমরা কি পড়বো, আমরা কি ঠিক আছে একটা মিনিট। ওকে আচ্ছা মান ভাই, তারপর তো এটা একটু পড়তে হবে না, পড়লে আমরা সেকেন্ডটা বুঝবো। The fertile land of the Nile Delta is being eroded along Egypt's Mediterranean coast at an astounding rate. The fertile land of the Nile Delta is being eroded, মানে ওখানে নদী ক্ষয় হচ্ছে, along Egypt's Mediterranean coast in an astounding rate। কি বলছে? In some parts estimated at 100 meters per year. In the past, land scoured away from the coastline by the currents of Mediterranean Sea used to be replaced by sediment। তাহলে সাগর সবসময় নিচ্ছে, সেটা কি হতো, পূরণ হতো, replaced by sediment brought down to the delta by the river Nile, but this is no longer happening। ঠিক আছে, তো এখানে যেটা বলছে যে এই জায়গায় কি হতো, এই জায়গায় ক্ষয়ে যেত, হয়তো বা এমন হচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ এটা হচ্ছে, কিন্তু এখান থেকে যে পলি আসতো, পলি দিয়ে ঠিকই এটা কি হতো, এই জিনিসটা কভার হয়ে যেত, হ্যাঁ আবার আগের জায়গায় চলে যেত, এই ধরনের একটা ব্যাপার। কিন্তু এখন আর হচ্ছে না, তো এমন করে আস্তে আস্তে কি হচ্ছে, ছোট হয়ে যাচ্ছে। আচ্ছা এখন আবার পড়ি। Up to now, people have blamed this loss of delta land on two large dams in Aswan, in the south of Egypt, which hold back virtually all the sediments that used to flow down the river. মানে ওইটা সেডিমেন্টটা আটকে দিচ্ছে। Before the dams were built, the Nile flowed freely, carrying huge quantities of sediment at the north from Africa's interior to be deposited on the Nile Delta. সেই আফ্রিকা থেকে, হ্যাঁ আফ্রিকার ওই গভীর আফ্রিকা থেকে, ওই লেক নাসের ওখান থেকে এসে কি করতো, এখানে এই জায়গায় জমতো। This continued for 7,000 years, eventually covering a region of over 22,000 square kilometers with layers of fertile land। 22,000 স্কয়ার কিলোমিটার। এমনও হতে পারে হয়তোবা কি কায়রোই ছিল, কায়রোই হয়তোবা সমুদ্র বন্দর ছিল, কথার কথা, আস্তে আস্তে কি হচ্ছে, পলি জমতে 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 এটা এই দিকে চলে এসছে। জাস্ট কথার একটা ধরে নিলাম, হ্যাঁ এই এমন করে আস্তে আস্তে এদিকে পলি জমছে। তারপর ৭,০০০ বছর ধরে এটা প্রসেসে চলেছে। Annual flooding brought in nutrient-rich soil to delta region, replacing what had been washed away by the sea, and dispensing with the need for fertilizers in Egypt, richest food-growing area. সেই জন্য ওখানে কি লাগে না?
ফার্টিলাইজার লাগে।
ফার্টিলাইজার লাগছে না। আচ্ছা, তারপর but when the Aswan belts were constructed in the 20th century to provide electricity and irrigation, and to protect the huge population center of Cairo and its surrounding areas from annual flooding and drought, most of the sediments with its natural fertilizer accumulated up above the dam in the southern upstream half of lake instead of passing down. তাহলে কি হচ্ছে, ওই জায়গাটা আরেকবার protect the huge, কি হচ্ছে, most of the sediments with its natural fertilizer accumulated up above the dam in southern NEWS upstream half of lake instead of passing through. তাহলে কি হচ্ছে, যে এর হাফ পর্যন্ত কি হচ্ছে, এটা জমা হচ্ছে
সেডিমেন্ট।
হ্যাঁ, সেডিমেন্টটা এখানে না এসে এখানে তো আটকে যাচ্ছে। তাহলে কোথায় জমা হতো, এই জায়গাটায় না,
এখন লেকে জমা।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, এই যে এইটাই এই জায়গায় জমা হতো, এইটা জমা না হয়ে এখন এই জায়গায় জমা হচ্ছে। আচ্ছা, একটা মিনিট। আচ্ছা, তারপর এই যে এইটাই তো আমরা বুঝে গেছি এটা না। আচ্ছা, তাহলে এইটা কি হবে, এটা কি নিয়ে পড়েছে আমরা মূলত? আচ্ছা, আমরা তো আচ্ছা, এটা কি হবে একটু দেখেন তো, কোনটা 14 কি হবে, বি কোনটা কোনটা হতে পারে পড়া?
ইন্টারেপ্টিং এ ন্যাচারাল প্রসেস।
স্যার 4 নাম্বার।
4 নাম্বার,
জি
হ্যাঁ এটাই ইন্টারাপ্টিং এ ন্যাচারাল প্রসেস। কেন ওইটা ন্যাচারাল প্রসেসটা বন্ধ করেই এত ঝামেলা হচ্ছে।
জি,
so this is the answer. আচ্ছা, ফাইন, ওকে, আমরা এটা দেখলাম। এখন তারপর আমরা পরেরটাই চলে যাই। আচ্ছা, পরের প্যারাগ্রাফটা পড়বো।
এটা যদিও দেওয়া আছে তা পড়িস।
হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা কি আছে, নাও however, সি তো দেই আছে, তারপরে তাড়াতাড়ি করি। নাও however there turns to be more to this story. If it appears that the sediment-free water emerging from Aswan dams pick up silt and sand as it erodes the riverbed and banks on the 800-kilometer trips to Cairo. Pick up silt and sand as it erodes river. আচ্ছা, দুই সাইডে ইরোড করার ফলে কি হচ্ছে, পিক আপ ওই ওখান থেকে স্যান্ড নিচ্ছে। ড্যানিয়েল জি স্ট্যানলি of the Smithsonian Institute noticed that water samples taken in Cairo just before the river enters the delta indicated that the river sometimes carries more than 850 grams of sediment per cubic meter of water, almost half of what it carried before the dams were built. মানে অনেক কম না? Indicate the river sometimes carries more than 850 per, almost half of what it carried. I'm ashamed to say that the significance of this didn't strike me until after I had read 50 or 60 studies, says Stanley in marine geology. There is still a lot of sediments coming into the delta, but virtually no sediment comes out into the Mediterranean to replenish the coastline. So this sediment must be trapped on the delta itself. তাহলে এখানে এই ডেল্টাতে আসছে না, যতটুকু আসার কথা ছিল সেটা আসছে না। এটা ওরা কিসে গেছে, কিসে গিয়েছিল? এটা এই যে এইটা বোধহয় না, নাকি সি কোনটা দিয়েছে? সিটা দিয়েছিল 6, less valuable sediment than before. Eta focus. Now let's read. Stupid D. Once north of Cairo, most of the Nile water is diverted into Once north of Cairo, most of the Nile north of Cairo. Cairo এখানে north মানে এই দিকে উপরে। North তখন Cairo ছাড়িয়ে ডেল্টার দিকে যাচ্ছে। Once most of the river is diverted into more than 10,000 kilometers of irrigation canals, and only a small portion reaches the sea directly through the rivers in the delta. The water in the irrigation canals is still or very low moving and thus cannot carry sediment, Stanley explains. The sediment sinks to the bottom of the canals and then is added to fields by farmers or pumped with the water into the 4 large freshwater lagoons that are located near the outer edge of the delta. The sediment sinks to the bottom as the canals and then added the field to farmers are pumped into the water into the 4 large freshwater lagoons that are located near the outer edge of the delta. So very little or it actually reaches the coastline to replay what is being washed away by the machine. তাহলে এদের মূল কনসার্ন হচ্ছে এই ইয়েটা অনেক সময় আটকে যাচ্ছে, কিন্তু ইয়েটা ভেঙে যাচ্ছে না, কোস্টলাইনটা। আচ্ছা, তাহলে ডিটা কোনটা দিতে পারি আমরা? ডি কোনটা?
স্যার 1 হবে।
আচ্ছা 1 কি হচ্ছে? 1টা কি?
15 নম্বর
প্রশ্নটা দেখাবো।
1 আচ্ছা 1 হচ্ছে ইফেক্টস অফ ইফেক্টস। 1টা কি এটা?
জি।
1টা কোনটা হতে পারে?
15 নম্বরের জন্য।
আচ্ছা, ওইটার জন্য কি হবে? Effects of irrigation on sedimentation.
জি।
Effects of irrigation. হ্যাঁ, কেন ওইগুলো তো ওই এটা ওরা পানিটা নিয়ে নিচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ,
এটা নেয়ার ফলে সেডিমেন্টেশনটা শেষ করতে পানি তো বন্ধই করে দিচ্ছে, পানিটা ফ্লোটাও থাকছে না, ডাইভার্ট ওই লেগুনের দিকে ডাইভার্ট করে দিচ্ছে। আলটিমেটলি যেটা হচ্ছে এই সেডিমেন্টেশন গুলো আর ঘুরতে পারছে না। তারপর তারপরটা একটু পড়ি, এটা হয়েছে। তারপরটা ইটা আমরা পড়ছি না। হ্যাঁ, the farms on the delta, plains and fishing and aquaculture in the lagoons account for much of Egypt's food supply. But by the time the sediment has come to rest in fields and lagoons, it is laden with municipal, industrial, and agricultural waste from the Cairo region, which is home to more than 40 million people. Pollutants are building up faster and faster, says Stanley. Based on this investigation of sediment from Delta Lagoon, Frederick Segal of George Washington University concurs, মানে একমত পোষণ করে, in Manzala Lagoon, for example, the increase in mercury, lead, copper, and zinc coincided with the building of high dam at Oxford, the availability of cheap electricity, and the development of major power-based industries, he says. আচ্ছা, তারপর কি বলছে? Since that time, the concentration of mercury has increased significantly. Lead from engines that use leaded fuels and from other industry sources has also increased dramatically. These poisons can easily enter the food chain, affecting the productivity of fishing and farming. Another problem is that agricultural wastes include fertilizer which stimulate increases in plant growth in the region and upset the ecology of the area, with serious effects on fishing industry. আচ্ছা এটা কি দেবেন? এটা আমরা কি পড়েছি? আমাদের কোনটা হচ্ছে? আমাদের এইটা বোঝা হয়েছে না?
3 নাম্বার হবে না?
এটা হচ্ছে না? এটা হচ্ছে
2টা হতে পারে স্যার। 2
কোনটা?
2টা হতে পারে
স্যার 5 স্যার 5
আচ্ছা এটা আমরা 5 করছি। থ্রেট অফ টু ফুড
প্রোডাকশন
ওই যে সব ইয়ের বর্জ্যগুলো কি হচ্ছে? ইয়ের বর্জ্যগুলো
স্যার ফুড সাপ্লাই লেখা আছে
এবং ওইটা দিয়েই ইয়ে করা হচ্ছে।
জি জি জি
ওইটা দিয়েই ওরা কৃষিকাজ করছে। কৃষিকাজ ফলে সবগুলো ফুড চেইনের মধ্যে ঢুকে যাচ্ছে।
জি স্যার।
ওকে, তারপর এফটা দেখি। According to Siegel, international environmental organizations are beginning to pay closer attention to the region, partly because of the problems of erosion and pollution of the Nile Delta, but principally because they feared the impact this situation could have on the whole Mediterranean coastal ecosystem. But there are no easy solutions. In the immediate future, Stanley believes that one solution would be to make artificial floods to flush out the delta waterways in the same way that natural floods did before the construction of the dams. He says, however, that in the long term, an alternative process such as the desalinization may have to be used to increase the amount of water available. In my view, Egypt must devise a way to have more water running through the river, and the delta, says Stanley, easier said than done in a desert region with a rapidly growing population. এটা কি হতে পারে? মূলত কি নিয়ে কাজ করেছে? আচ্ছা, মানে কি করা যায় না, এটা কিভাবে একটা সলিউশন আনা যায়? কি হচ্ছে এটা?
I think last একটা
স্যার 8 নাম্বার স্যার 8 নাম্বার।
আচ্ছা এইটা বোঝা হয়ে গেছে না?
Looking at the long term impact.
হ্যাঁ, long term impact. আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা তারপর এটা আমাদের গেল। এখন আমরা দেখবো yes no not given না বোঝা আছে না? আমরা তো মোটামুটি পড়েছি। এখন yes no not given দেখি তো আমরা অবশ্যই এইভাবে করা উচিত না? অবশ্যই আমাদের চেক করতে হবে সবসময়। আচ্ছা একটু দেখি। আচ্ছা 18 নম্বর হলো কোস্টাল ইরোশন occurred along Egypt building of Aswan dams. Coastal erosion occurred along Egypt's Mediterranean coast before the coastal erosion কি হতো?
জি স্যার ইয়েস হবে স্যার, এই নাম্বারে দেওয়া আছে।
ইয়েস হবে?
জি স্যার
ইয়েস হবে 18।
জি স্যার এতে মনে হয় দেওয়া আছে।
করতে হয়নি।
জি স্যার এতে দেওয়া আছে।
দেখি হ্যাঁ এতে in the past land scoured away from the coastline by the currents of Mediterranean sea used to be replaced. ও আচ্ছা হতো, কিন্তু সেডিমেন্ট দিয়ে কিছু হতো, এটা ভরে যেত এইটা। কিন্তু এখন হচ্ছে এখন সাগর ঠিকই ইয়ে করে, হ্যাঁ ইরোশন হতো, ইরোশনও হতো, রিপ্লেনিশও হতো। এখন হচ্ছে ইরোশন হচ্ছে কিন্তু আর রিপ্লেনিশ হচ্ছে না। তাহলে এটা হবে কি? ইয়েস। তারপর হচ্ছে some people predicted that the Aswan dams would cause land loss before they were built.
Land loss এর কথা কিছু বলে নাই।
19 এর প্রেডিকশনের এই ব্যাপারে আমরা কিন্তু কোনো কিছু করিনি। কি প্রেডিক্ট করা হয়েছিল এটা কিন্তু বলা নাই। প্রেডিক্ট করেছিল এই ধরনের কোনো কথা, আর প্রেডিক্ট এত করলে তো এটা হয়তো তৈরি করতো না কিছুটা, যদি এইটা এই ধরনের প্রেডিকশন আসতো। 20 হলে the Austrian goes to increase the fertility of the fertilityর জন্য 20
fertility of
fertilityর জন্য না বোধহয় fertilityর কথা বলেনি।
ইউটিলিটি মানে ইলেকট্রিসিটি
কিসের কারণে? ইলেকট্রিসিটি প্লাস আর যদি বন্যা যাতে না হয়,
জি স্যার,
ইয়েতে বন্যা যাতে না হয়, হ্যাঁ এই দুইটা বলেছিল। তারপরে Stanley found that the levels of sediment in the river were relatively high. Sediment in the river water in Cairo. Stanley found that the levels of sediments in the river water in Cairo were relatively high. 21 নম্বর কি হবে?
এটা তো নো হবে মনে হয়
স্যার। এটা মেবি ইয়েস হবে স্যার।
কেন? The levels of sediments in river water
স্যার হাইট তো লেখা আছে।
এটা লো হবে না স্যার, আপ ছিল না,
না হাইলি লেখা আছে।
যেহেতু এটা বন্ধ করে দিচ্ছে, বন্ধ করলে এটা তো লো হওয়ার কথা না?
জি স্যার, জি স্যার, হাফ হয়ে গেছে,
রিলেটিভলি হাইলি। হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা, এটা কত নম্বর আমরা দেখছি?
21।
আচ্ছা 21, 21, let's check 21. 21টা কোথায় আছে? 21টা let's see আমরা কোথায় এই জায়গায় আমরা পাবো। there is
ডি নাম্বারে ভেরি স্লো।
হ্যাঁ এখানে পাওয়া যাবে, এই জায়গাটা। There is still a lot of sediments coming into the delta, but virtually no sediments comes out into the Mediterranean to replenish the coastline. So this sediment must be trapped on the delta itself. আচ্ছা ওটা তো বলছে there is still a lot of sediment coming into the delta, but virtually no sediments come out into the Mediterranean. এতে প্রচুর আসছে, এখানে কিন্তু বলছে, এখানে আসছে এটা বলেনি, বলছে there is still a lot of sediments coming into the delta, but virtually no sediments comes out in the Mediterranean.
তাহলে স্যার কি দিব, ইয়েস অর নো?
না এটা হ্যাঁ ইয়েস আসছে, কিন্তু আসছে, কিন্তু মেডিটেরিয়ানে পর্যন্ত যাচ্ছে না। আর এখানে বলছে হ্যাঁ সেডিমেন্ট, এখানে বলছে ফ্রম দি যেমন ইরিগেশন, এই যে the level of sediment in river water in Cairo were relatively high, এটা তো বলছে relatively, এই যে আচ্ছা। তারপর একটা sediments in the irrigation canals on the river causes flooding, এটা সত্যি মিথ্যা নাকি বলেছে? এটা আমরা পড়েছি flooding।
তাহলে এটা ইয়েস হবে স্যার, আগেরটা।
কোনটা? এটা
21 নাম্বার?
হ্যাঁ 21 নম্বর ইয়েস হবে। আচ্ছা 22 নম্বর নট গিভেন, এই ব্যাপারে ওরা কোনো কিছু
জি স্যার
বলেনি। দি সেডিমেন্ট সিঙ্কস টু দি বটম এন্ড দিস ইজ অ্যাডেড বাই ফার্মার্স এ পাম্প প্লেস, এটা বন্যার সম্বন্ধে কিছু বলেনি, হতে পারে নাও হতে পারে। When water is pumped from the irrigation canals into the lagoons, water is pumped from, এটা হচ্ছে 23 নম্বর। 23 নম্বর একটু দেখি তো। The sediment sinks at the bottom of the canal, then is added to the field by farmers or pumped with the water into the fore. It is pumped, na? Pumped water. Water is pumped from the irrigation canals into
last freshwater.
এটা হলো true, এই জায়গাটা পাবে।
Yes.
এই জায়গাটা পাবে। এটা এই জায়গা পড়লেই আপনি পাবেন। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তাহলে এটা তো আমাদের হয়ে গেল। এখন আমরা একটু এটা দেখব, সামারি। সামারিটা কোথায় আছে? বেশি নাই, তবু কি পারবো আমরা। And in addition to the problem of coastal erosion, there has been marked increase in the level of key. contained in the cell deposition in the delta. 24 কি দেবেন? In addition to the problem of post-irrigation তো হচ্ছে, ওর সঙ্গে আরেকটা কি হচ্ছে? হ্যাঁ, 24 নম্বর
pollutant নাকি স্যার?
স্যার E by F কনফিউশন আছে স্যার।
pollutant হবে F
নাম্বার
24 নম্বর। হ্যাঁ, দাঁড়ান 24 নম্বর এই যে এখানে আছে, এই যে pollutants, এই যে এখানে কোথায় আছে?
pollutant
Fertilizer which stimulates 40 million people. Building a faster and easier. More than 40 million people. ঠিক আছে? এই জায়গাটা তাহলে এখানে কোনটা হবে? Pollutants. এটা কি হবে? আমাদের pollutants হবে। তারপরটা
স্যার 25 নাম্বার A
স্যার আপনি শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
স্যার মেবি বিজি আছে একটু কাইন্ডলি।
ও
স্যার মেবি কল আসছে।
You can hear me? You can
Yes,
hear me
sir.
now, না? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ আমি শুনছিলাম। আচ্ছা, এখানে তো আমরা পারলাম বোধহয় না, এখানে ওই জায়গাটা পড়লেই হবে। আর্টিফিশিয়াল ফ্লাড করতে হবে আর ডিস্যালিনাইজেশন দিতে করতে হবে।
বি
আর ফার্স্টে
25 নাম্বার বি এ হবে আর 26 হচ্ছে স্যার বি
হবে। ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা। হ্যাঁ মাউন ভাই আপনারা আছেন?
জি স্যার, জি স্যার।
আচ্ছা, এই আমাদের ক্লাস আমরা আমাদের কি এখন 5 দিন করবো নাকি আমাদের এখন সময় কম আছে? আমাদের কি 3 দিন করলে কি ভালো হয়? 3 দিন আদনান তুমি তো মাঝে মধ্যে আসো মামুন ভাই কি মনে হয় আমরা যদি 3 দিন করি 3 দিন
করা যায় স্যার
নাকি 5 দিন কেন এখন তো স্টুডেন্ট তুলনামূলক ভাবে কম
জি স্যার
প্রত্যেকদিন না করে প্রত্যেকদিন করতে কেমন লাগে প্রত্যেকদিন ভালো লাগে নাকি একদিন গ্যাপ
একদিন গ্যাপ দিলেই ভালো হয় স্যার
একটা গ্যাপ করলে ভালো নাকি না আবার অনেকের অনেক ধরনের প্রবলেমও থাকে কেউ হয়তো রোববারে থাকে কেউ আবার মঙ্গলবারে আচ্ছা এটা আমি
মানডে ওয়েডনেসডে আর ফ্রাইডে করেন
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা একটা মিনিট আমি ওইটা একটু বন্ধ করে দিই
4 দিন করতে পারেন স্যার
হ্যাঁ